This video tutorial is designed to give you a brief introduction to searching the Hispanic American newspapers database available online from the SHSU library. As you can see, this database includes newspapers spanning from 1808 to 1980. These are all newspapers that were published in America, either in Spanish or bilingually in English and Spanish, as products of the Hispanic American population. Now you have a number of different options when you come into search. You can, of course, type in keywords to find articles on a particular topic. You can further narrow your search by dates, article types, languages, places of publication, and newspaper title. Let's talk a little bit about all these different options. The dates in particular give you some very flexible options. You can choose a particular era in American history. These are listed for you and defined by some of the key historical events in that era. So, for instance, you could focus on the Civil War or the Reconstruction era, or you could look at the Vietnam era from 1965 to 1975. Another option you have, though, is to put in a custom date range. This is extremely flexible. This could be anything from 1960 to 1980, or January 1st, 1975 through February 2nd, 1975. So it could be a range of years, a range of months, or a range of very specific days, even just one specific day. It's very, very flexible depending on exactly what kind of a time period you need to focus on for your topic. Now you can combine different searches across these tabs, of course. So you could put in a specific range of dates and come over to article types, and focus on just certain types of articles. So for instance, this is going to let you focus on news articles as opposed to things like letters, advertisements, birth and death notices. So you can focus on any of these types of items that you want to based on your research topic. Now the Languages tab is going to be a very important option for you within the scope of this class. You're going to want to make sure that you focus only on these Spanish language newspapers as opposed to some of the other bilingual papers. Now places of publication is another flexible option. By default, you're just searching all of the state papers that are included in the database, but you can come in and select a very specific state, or if you click a plus sign beside a state, you can even narrow it down to a certain city. Now you'll notice that some of these states have this little gray label that says 0 titles. That's indicating what is available or not available based on other options you've selected. So if you enter a certain year and there are no papers in that state from that year, then that state will not be available. Same thing with the article types and the languages. We've selected the Spanish language only. So this is only going to show us the states that actually have newspaper titles entirely in Spanish. So each of these tabs, in other words, the options on each tab, may change based on what other options you've already selected. So let's go ahead and just select California. Now obviously you can select multiple states, or you can select only specific cities within each state. This can be as general or as specific as you need it to be based on your topic. Let's just select California. So right now we're looking for Spanish language papers printed in California. And you'll notice it's tracking that across the top of the tab. It will show selected places of publication and languages. Now newspaper titles you probably will not use as often. This is actually letting you get down to the level of the specific newspapers included in this database. So you could choose to search only 1 or 2 specific newspapers. Now you'll notice right now it's only displaying those in California because I've already limited the search to California. So instead of searching the entire state or even the entire city, we could choose to search only this one newspaper printed in Los Angeles. I'm not going to limit that at the moment, but it is an option. So let's put in the same search that we did earlier. Search for international politics. Again, searching in Spanish as opposed to in English. We're going to get back a list of results. This will tell you here that there's 1,092 results. You'll be able to see the headline of the specific article, the publication date, the newspaper that it was published in and the place it was published, and what type of an article it is. For instance, a letter versus a news article. You'll also get a very, very small preview of part of the document, but you'll click View Article to view the entire article. Now there's also a View Full Page. We're going to take a quick look at how those two options are different. Let's start out by clicking View Article. This is going to open the special viewer and let us read this one newspaper article, which obviously we can scroll through. And there's our letter. Now let's go back and click View Full Page. So I really want you to get a sense of how this is different. This is going to show you the entire page of this newspaper where this particular article appeared. So you'll see here we're looking at page 2, and these are each of the articles on page 2. Now you'll notice as I roll over one of these titles, the article becomes highlighted in the page. You can also roll over the page and it will show you where each individual section is at. Now if we click on one of these, it will zoom in and show us just that article. You can also jump to other pages in the newspaper within that same issue. Now why is it important to be able to get this full page view instead of just reading the individual article? This is really important because this is showing you the article in context. So you're not only seeing exactly what is said in this article, you're seeing what other types of information or advertisements are printed on the same page, what kind of images or photographs are there. Now this is an older paper. Of course, this is 1868, so we're not seeing much in the way of images, but in more modern papers, there might be a relationship between this article and a photograph that's shown near it on the same page. And if all you do is read the article, you might be missing other items around it that actually help inform the article that you're reading. So it's really great to be able to take a step back and see this entire page. Now let's go ahead and zoom in on a specific article again. If you've read this article and you're interested in saving or printing a copy, you definitely do not want to come up to File and just print it from your browser window. It is going to be unreadable. It will be a terrible printout. If you want to save or print this, you always want to use this PDF button to create a PDF file of the article, which you can then send to the printer or download as a file. Now I want to draw your attention to one problem. Take a look at this PDF of this newspaper article. You've got a headline here, but that's really it. If we scroll through this whole thing, you'll notice there is no information provided in this PDF about what newspaper this came out of, what date it was printed, none of the information that you would need to include in a citation. So if you save or print a PDF, be sure to capture all of this information that's displayed above the image of the page. This will show you the headline, the newspaper title, the date, the location. You need to capture this information in one way or another. Either write it by hand on your printout or save it in a text file that accompanies the PDF you download. Find a way to include it in the file name of your PDF. Whatever method works for you, you need to be sure that that information is captured so that you'll be able to cite this newspaper article later. Let's go ahead and go back to our results. Now, if you've already watched the tutorial about searching the Arte Publico database, you might notice a difference here. Arte Publico showed you your results down the center column, and you had the column on the left that gave you a lot of options for narrowing down those results. This database platform does not provide those same kinds of limiters after you have your results. If you decide that this 1,902 results is just too many and that your search was too broad, what you need to do is just come back up here, add terms into your search. Notice you can click Add Search Field if you want additional rows for adding more keywords. Or else you want to go back into these tabs for things like dates, places, article types, and change your original options in order to make your search more specific. For instance, out of that 1,000 results, we might come back over here and say we only want papers after 1900. Let's run the search again. You'll see that cut about 40 results out. Not a lot, but it did narrow it down a little bit. If we limit it to after 1950, now you'll see that we've dropped from over 1,000 to only 58. So that has significantly limited the number of results that we have and given us a little bit of a smaller pile to sort through. So that's a brief introduction to searching the Hispanic American newspapers. Remember, you can view the individual articles, you want to use the PDFs to save them or print them, and you want to be sure you capture all of the citation information to accompany that PDF.